In this video, I'm talking about how to do automatic writing for demonic summoning. In case you don't know, I'm Frater Lucath. I made this video because people often seek simple ways to evoke demons, and all the videos on this topic are generally for white magic. Nothing particularly wrong with that, but I think many people don't realize you can use automatic writing to summon demons. However, you could use this process for any type of ritual with any type of entity, even an angel, god or goddess, a spirit, or a pop culture icon. You can even use this for divination, scrying, or many other occult activities. Really, it's up to you and your magical tradition. But for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to assume you're summoning demons if you're watching this. So simply bend this method to your needs. So, what is automatic writing? Automatic writing is a process in which one allows their unconscious mind or another entity to write rather than making a conscious choice to write. Scientifically speaking, it's considered an idiomotor phenomena like the Ouija board. However, it's a tried and true method for occult practice. So why would you want to use automatic writing for demonic summoning? Well, first, it's far easier than trying to see or hear demons. Both of these activities take quite a lot of skill to master and explore. And I know the efficacy of it because I began this way. Also, it makes journaling much easier as your notes are already taken care of. If you can read them, that is. You could also approach pathworking, but automatic writing isn't much more difficult than pathworking, and it's a lot more malleable as you don't have to create or find a specific pathworking for the entity you're working with. All you have to do is get into state and let your hand write. So before we get into the demonic summoning part, let's start with discussing how to do automatic writing. It's actually a rather simple process with just a few steps, but this doesn't mean it's necessarily easy. There are also a few areas people get messed up with. So first, you need to prepare for automatic writing. Have a pen or pencil already ready to write, and something to write on available to you. There's no point in getting into the state, then having to pop out to get the stuff, then going back into state. It's a waste of time to do that. And make sure you have a goal in mind, like a question or something you'd like more insight into. It's very hard to just write about nothing. Next, you need to get into a receptive state. This is probably the hardest part for people new to this kind of work, as the state makes or breaks the experience. And really, getting into these kind of states takes some practice. But if you know how to do this already, then just do whatever works best for you. If you're new to occult practice, I recommend practicing meditation or self-hypnosis before going deeper into the occult because it will speed up your learning. However, you will necessarily learn how to go into these states if you just keep practicing. So, either way is fine. Just know, you'll likely be less frustrated if you start with meditation or hypnosis than if you work on doing rituals, because rituals take much more effort. An easy way to go into state is to watch videos on hypnosis, ASMR, or meditation. You can find many of them on YouTube readily available. But you'll really want to learn how to do this for yourself. So I recommend that you start with something relevant to magic and helpful for learning how to scry, which is candle gazing. If you're already using candles in ritual, this is great. If not, just light a candle and stare into the flame. Focus all of your attention on the flame. If thoughts pop up, that's okay. Just pull your attention back to the flame. Do this for 10 or so minutes until you feel kind of spacey or relaxed. You want to get really close to spacing out, but not quite space out. The longer, the better. But once you're in the right state, you can stop. Keep in mind that the deeper you go without blacking out, the better results you'll have. You will likely want to practice this for several days before doing automatic writing, as entering these states is a skill that takes some practice. Once you're in the state, grab the pen or pencil, put it on the paper, focus on the question, and just let your hand write. It may automatically begin to write. It may take a moment. Just retain the state and see what happens without judgment. You may write gibberish. You may hear the words before or as you write them. You may write freely, or you may sit there and write nothing. This is a skill and takes time to master, so allow yourself to just see what happens without judgment. You may even wish to practice this a few times before doing it in a ritual, as you can ask your own mind questions and use automatic writing to get an answer. It's something hypnotists have used for centuries to get information from clients. Now, the biggest hang-up people have here, or with these kinds of processes in general, is thinking. Am I doing this right? What's supposed to happen? Why isn't this happening? Am I really getting a message or just BSing myself? These kind of thoughts are really unhelpful. You'll need to keep the meditative state, and thinking will pull you out of it. If you have issues with automatic writing, 99% of the time, this is the issue. You probably need to go deeper into state, or practice meditation or hypnosis more. Definitely be critical after the working. That's a great time for critical thinking and thought. Now, it really is this simple. All you need to do is just get into the state and let your hand write. I know it seems like there's more to it than that, but really, there's not more to it than that I can explain to you. The process that's happening is a very deep one, and it involves an interconnection with yourself, the experience, and the pen in your hand. And that can't really be easily explained. It's something that you just have to learn how to do. So practice this, practice some more, and you'll notice that it'll begin to happen for you. It may not happen the first or the second time, but just keep working on it and allow yourself to go. Like I said before, the biggest hang-up that people have here is thinking, am I doing this right? What's going on? These kind of thoughts will definitely hinder your ability to get anywhere with automatic writing. So now, let's switch topics and talk about how to use automatic writing for demonic summoning. This process is very simple. Get into state, evoke the demon according to your tradition, allow them to speak through you or even possess you if you wish, then just write. So we've already discussed going into state, so hopefully you have that part down. Evocation is very much dependent upon your tradition of magical practice. I do a blend of chaos and draconian magic usually. So for me, it's about lighting some candles, maybe calling the corners as demonic entities, offering a few drops of my own blood on the sigil, then gazing at the sigil and focusing on the entity I'm calling. Sometimes I'll chant the entity's name. You may get a lot out of watching my previous video about preparatory immersion to learn more about how to prepare for summoning, or you may wish to look at my website for information on how to evoke demons. There's a ton of information about this online, but I have some things already written on my site. Also, gazing at the sigil is usually very helpful for making a connection with the spirit. Again, remember that you want to retain state. So just do it. Don't contemplate it. This messes everything up. This is the reason that Masters and Johnson in their work on sexuality recommend thinking about things like baseball scores to delay orgasm and sex. Analyzing what's going on will ruin the state. You need to hush the chatter and stay focused. Remember, all you need to do is just pull your focus back if it wanders. There is no time limit to this process, so take the time you need. It'll get easier and faster with time. When the demon arrives, you should at least feel it emotionally, but you may not, particularly at first. Next, you just allow the demon to write through you. Often, all you need to do is just think about the question and want their insight. You can of course ask out loud if you wish. Put the pen on the paper and just let your hand write. You may hear words in your mind, or your hand may write of its own accord. You want the hand to write by itself to do automatic writing, but ultimately your goal should be connection and the answer. So however it comes is fine. But if you wish, you can allow them to possess you. It's actually rather simple. Once you've evoked them, just ask them to enter your body and write the answers. Don't expect them to fully take over your life, however. This is not a Hollywood movie. In fact, you may not even notice the possession, or it might feel very minor. It often feels like a bit of an opioid drug for me. How these things manifest for you will be very personal to you, and thus I cannot definitively say how it will happen. Just go with the experience. Demonic entities can speak to you through words, images, emotions, feelings, memories, thoughts, etc. So just let whatever happens happen without judgment. As you progress, it's also likely to change. At this point, you know how to do automatic writing for demonic summoning. And so at this point, I hope you enjoyed the video and learned a few things. Please share it with your friends, subscribe, and check out my blog for more information about evoking demons and other left-hand path topics. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below.